Welcome to the show. Well, another round of primaries are over. Ken, what do you think is next for Bernie? And can the Republicans reunite their party?
Well, I think Bernie has put in a great effort. He's doing a lot better than most had expected. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to be able to get the number of seats needed for the nomination.
Well, I don't see Bernie stepping down until he runs out of other people's money, sort of like the way he plans on managing the government.
Well, they're giving it to him quite willingly.
They are. And all the young people, it's kind of funny that, all the, 18 to 25 to even 30 range are opening up their pocketbooks, but they don't have any jobs.
Well, but it says where their heart is, doesn't it?
Well,
It's not billionaires, as Bernie said. They can throw their money away. These guys have skin in the game, and there must be a reason.
Well, they must have borrowed it from mom and dad.
They have skin in the game because they're hoping Bernie will give them everything for free once he gets in office.
Well, it's not going to be for free. It's going to come out of their taxes.
But if they don't pay taxes.
Well,
But-
eventually they do grow up, and years go by before anything like that
So
happens.
after about 20 years, they'll finally start paying.
Well, they would like jobs, I think, is the main issue here, which is a lot of Americans understand that, as do the Trump supporters.
As long
That
as
is the issue. I talk to these young people every day. Some of the jobs I do. Just the other day up at the museum, started back there. There's a guy, took him a year to find a job, and it's not what he wants. Got a college degree, did everything he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Seems like a sharp guy. That's the issue.
Do we think Bernie's being penalized because of the superdelegates? I mean, Republicans have
Yes.
the same problem.
He's being penalized in a sense, I think.
Okay, I think something needs to be done with the superdelegates, that they're actually committed to a given candidate based upon the will of the voters in the state.
Well, I would say
yeah.
that if the superdelegates are committed to Hillary, they need to be committed.
There you go. There you go.
Well, they committed very early on, too. It's a strange
Right.
setup because of the way the election cycle, I think, was proceeding. Because then Bernie, he's a little bit more on the upswing here at the moment.
Yeah.
He is, but he's still. But here's interesting. What I read today was that he would have to get 61% of the remaining delegates, including superdelegates, to have mathematically a chance.
Yeah. I
But
think so.
interestingly, 61% is not unfathomable.
It is achievable. It's probably not going to happen, but who knows? And, Bernie has said from the very beginning, I've gotten all this, even the stuff he puts out from Jeff Weaver, the campaign manager and everything. It's about his movement. It was not just about Bernie. He's always said that, and he continues to say
Well,
that.
and I think to your point, Henry, about him staying in till the very end, I think that's why. I think those people
Yes.
that are giving him money, those $20,
owes them.
$50 donations,
He owes them.
I think they want to have an impact on the narrative as much as they want to have their
Yes.
candidate.
Well, we have
And
to
I think it's
maybe-
positive for our democracy and our
is.
republic. I think
It's
it's
very
positive that
positive.
he can communicate, and it shows that the government can reach down into the people, and there's involvement. I don't agree with what he has to espouse behind the
Yeah.
podium, but I think it's positive for our democracy the way it's being done.
Well, speaking of communication, maybe we should talk about Hillary and where the email thing is going.
It's going nowhere.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It really gets to me because
I didn't say
if-
that she didn't do anything wrong. I
Right.
just said it's going
No,
nowhere.
but that's
had
the
I
question
done what
was,
Hillary had I done what
it's not
Hillary
going
did,
anywhere.
I would already be in handcuffs. I really would.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's face it. And you
I-
can beat the dead horse all you want, but
Well,
it's not going to
Let's not
help.
talk about Bill and Hillary then.
Well, in some ways, they've been around a long time. They've been vetted 5 ways. All of this stuff. You can keep on talking about it, but I don't see how that, politically speaking, really ends up helping the Republican Party.
I think the Republicans will have a heyday with the Hillary and Bill.
Is it going to move the
Pass.
needle? That's my point.
Right.
I don't think
some
they
of it's
need to
re-education, though.
I don't
not
think
gonna.
they need to move the needle that much because I am of the belief that some of the Bernie Sanders will fall to Trump because he is the outsider. And above everything else, this is the year of the outsider.
Yeah.
That I think goes without
Well,
saying.
and something else too with Hillary is so moving a little bit past the email scandals too. Isn't there a Benghazi movie that's supposed to be coming out too?
There is, but that won't.
Well,
work.
yeah, they're going to beat that
They're
one
not-
too
yeah.
from now to the
Right.
end.
But
The other
we
thing
have the
is,
other
quite
thing with
frankly,
Bill.
I think it's going to be fun to watch Hillary squirm because Hillary is not the politician her husband is.
No, she's not.
And
Not many people are.
And
Yeah.
I think that when you get she and Trump on the debate stage, it's going to be a sight to see.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be sad for the American public because the level of discourse is going to be awfully difficult if it turns out to be those two, with Trump doing his shtick as the apprentice, show master, and as Hillary trying to dodge all the questions, which she's actually very good at.
Well,
As we
it's
saw-
going to be
as we
moderated
saw
by
in the
Barnum and
hearings
Bailey
on Ben
for
Cosby.
the
The,
debate.
wait, The Apprentice,
email hearing.
White House edition.
There
The
you
White
go.
House, well,
White
that's what
House
he
edition.
wants it to be.
But the
what he wants
question
it to
is,
be.
I
I
don't
like
think
it.
Hillary's email thing's going to do anything
No.
through this election.
Nope.
Now, whether if a Republican or someone else gets into the White House, do they bring it up? I don't know. But honestly, I
Oh,
think
they
it's
may not because
I don't
they'll have
think they
other
will.
fish to fry by
Yeah,
then.
I don't think they will at that point.
So
mean,
I think
she's
it's a
gonna get
non-issue
away
in
with
the
it.
end. in
So
terms of affecting
I'm
things.
at some level glad that Ted Cruz didn't win last night anything because he had threatened to get back into the race.
Well, yes, and how is the party going to unite itself with the Republicans then? You see what we got here. We got everybody on their own little horse. You have Donald Trump who came in on the steed and has no intention of moving. But they don't like him.
But here's the argument
The
I have.
establishment don't like him.
I've supported John McCain. I supported George W. Bush. I supported Mitt Romney. I supported Bob Dole. I supported them. Doesn't mean I liked them. I supported them as president. Now, I have a candidate who I actually think isn't half bad. Okay? There's some things he says that really turns my stomach.
Donald?
Yes, Donald.
Okay.
And I hear everyone who is the quote mainstream saying, oh, well, we can't get behind him. Well, for crying out loud, we had to eat your cold soup for the last 20 years. It's about time we have someone with some passion behind.
Well,
Well, yeah, but I think there's also some people have some moral concerns here. I think it's
Well, if we
it's
talk
on that
morality,
level.
then we can't talk about Hillary.
Well, no, but we're talking about the Republican Party and what they're facing in this particular discussion. And that's the reason they're having a problem. You have somebody like, whatever you think of Paul Ryan, good Catholic, all of this. He gets heat from the Catholics because of his positions. But he also, at the same time, does not want to appear this or that. John Kasich is very similar, who's also another Catholic and has these concerns. There is a real moral issue here for a lot of people, see, and I think you cannot disclaim that when you have so many people that went for Cruz who supposedly are.
so I think
Are you saying
majority-
and I think
but I'm
the
aligned
political
with them.
class, the political
Yeah, I know you are.
class, the political
People question
class claims that there's a moral issue that they have with Donald Trump. There's no moral issue they have with Donald Trump. They just know that he is going to change the face of the Republican Party, which, let the truth be told, that needs to happen on both ends. And I'm not saying I like exactly all of what Trump stands for, but these parties have no one to blame but themselves because they have spent the last however many years protecting themselves instead of serving the American
I
public.
totally agree with that. But, there still is the issue. There are some people, it is a moral issue. People I know who simply cannot believe we would vote for somebody, who goes against, freedom of religion and the Constitution, very
When does-
simple
when has he
things
said
like
that?
that.
Really? That's
Well, yes.
interesting. Who's saying that?
Donald Trump.
I've never heard that.
If you ban Muslims from coming to this country, then you're having a religious
But
test
you
that
know,
does not exist.
I think he lumped.
And he knows
I think
that.
he lumped Arab nations and Muslims. I think he lumped it all in together.
He said Muslims. And
He said
doubled down
Muslims,
on it
and he
just
said
the other
Mexicans when he
day.
meant Hispanics.
Is he going to?
doubled down on it.
Is he going to take all the Muslims that are in the country and put them all in?
No, but he's not going to let
internment
any
camps?
more in, and he said that.
For a
That
temporary
is what
period
he
of
said.
time
But
until
that's
we get the
still-
board.
Hitler said that about the Jews. And
Well, they weren't making a
That's
mass
the
immigration
issue.
to Germany at the time.
Newsflash: Hitler
They're not
is
making
not,
mass immigrations
and
here.
and we have been.
so
Don't forget, we have been attacked significantly by extremists, by Islamic extremists.
Hardly
and I
in this country.
understand that a Muslim
Then let's not have it.
and an Islamic
no,
extremist.
but we're still talking about this is an issue, and it is a real issue for people
It's an issue for those who.
because we're blaming all these things on Muslims, and the bad things are. I have a friend who is a Muslim, the poet laureate of
I think we all do.
Pakistan, the poet laureate of Pakistan. Talk to some of these people. He would never, if he wasn't in here now, he wouldn't be able to even come here. And he's a darn good citizen. That's the issue.
No, wait, is he a
But
citizen?
we really should go. We really should have our last topic here before, we do have 4 here. And it's part of the same one. It's sort of like, well, why did Cruz kind of bomb out in the end here, big time in the end?
Because he's an establishment candidate.
Well, I think there was several errors that he made in his campaign. One, he assumed that all fundamentalists, evangelicals, are going to align for him. Okay? As one, sorry, not going to happen. He took it for granted, it didn't happen. 2, he makes that pseudo alignment with Kasich, and it blew up in his face. And then he has the audacity to name a vice president. I mean,
And the one he named, too, had some kind of...
Yeah, what point was that?
I don't
mean,
know.
Seriously.
It was called a Hail Mary that was very
Yeah.
ill thought out.
Hail Mary, he got sacked for 20 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then he says, right before, I guess it was Monday night this week, he says, I might consider relaunching my campaign. It's like, dude, pick up your tent stakes, roll the tent up, and go somewhere right now.
Don't go away, man. Just go away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Egoism has no limits.
So the thing that, I tried to put my finger on what I didn't like about Ted Cruz. And at the end of the day, it was very simple. I didn't believe him. He reminded me
Right.
of the old televangelists who
Yes.
were lining their pockets.
Be healed.
Jimmy Swaggart, I'm sorry.
No, not Jimmy Swaggart. I was thinking of Ernest
Ernest
Ainsley.
Ainsley out.
Right.
Yeah, well,
and
some
who
of
was the
these,
guy
yes.
that went
Oh,
to
there's so many
jail?
of them.
Jim Baker.
Jim
Jim
Baker.
Baker, yeah.
He has his presentation style, his tempo.
Well, his father was preacher.
Yeah, okay, well,
Still is.
the apple did not fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for him. I've
Okay.
heard a lot of great
Well,
preachers.
I think we're kind of running out of time here, getting the sign. And next up on the flip side, we're going to look at Maryland's ranking with regard to income growth. It may surprise you, but probably not.